those are our 6 points, but now we're going to go for 2. Our biggest takeaways, biggest parting shots. And I'm going to hit mine first because it leads off of what we just talked about. And it's pairing a rookie first-round quarterback, and especially in the Bears situation, a number 1 overall pick quarterback, with a head coach who's on a prove-it deal. To me, is the worst possible thing you can do as a franchise in terms of trying to be a well-run organization. What do I not want to do? I don't want to have a quarterback, or a head coach with his job on the line, responsible for developing my number 1 overall pick, like the Bears just did with Matt Eberflus. Get a guy in there to set a direction, a tone that will be stable for at least, let's say, in today's NFL, you have to really bottom out to not get more than 1 year, but like you're at least getting 2 years of stability for this first overall pick. And obviously we saw with the Panthers last year, they tried to do that. He got fired halfway through the season, but in most cases, that's what you want to do. You want to give him a situation where he can grow as the head coach grows, not one where it's like the head coach has to make decisions that are very short-term in nature, because he has to know his job's on the line. And now you're at a point where Caleb went from one offense coordinator to another midseason, and now he's going to get a third this offseason. And it's like, why do bad organizations stay bad? It's decisions of this nature that just never made sense. They did it previously with their GM and Justin Fields, having a lame duck GM get to draft him to try to save his job, to go trade up and get Justin Fields, and then he gets fired the next year after he made that pick. It's just like, if you want organizational stability, you got to practice organizational stability. You can't just be flying by the seat of your pants saying we're too cheap to go out and get a new head coach because this one hasn't quite worked out, so we're going to give him a third year. No, I think the Bears are reaping what they sowed last offseason. And, well, that's why they ain't making the playoffs this year.
Renner, that is why I'll nominate you for the next general manager job that comes open. I don't know where it's – maybe not if it's in Jacksonville or something like that. I'll make sure –
I'd go to Jacksonville.
Okay, well, then perfect.
Tony Khan went to my high school. We're boys.
You guys are – you already have an in then. You're already hired. Yeah. Since they'll be probably cleaning house. Yeah, mine's not really a parting shot, but I just want to note – look, it's going to be about kickers. We started the season just fawning over kickers. Look, they're doing as good as they've ever done from long distance. Kickers can't miss from beyond 50 yards. Well, guess what? They're missing everything else. Inside 50 yards, kickers have absolutely fallen apart. I don't know what's going on. We saw it on Sunday. You go to the Cardinals-Vikings game. Arizona lost by 1. Chad Ryland missed a 45-yard field goal. We saw it in the Patriots-Colts game. Patriots lost by 1. Joey Sly missed a 25-yard field goal, the shortest missed field goal attempt by any kicker this year. Of course, I do want to give Joey Sly a shout out because he came about 2 feet from hitting a 60-yard field goal.
Which that was insane.
That would have given me a heart attack and I would have died.
If that was normal weather, you think he makes that?
Oh, yeah. I think because
75 degrees.
Yes, absolutely. It's cold weather. It takes about 1 or 2 yards off your kick. And I do think if it was 70, 75 degrees, he hits that. So that was crazy, but he also missed that 25-yarder. You mentioned Younghoe Koo earlier. He missed a 35-yarder. Falcons lost by 4. That field goal probably changes the complexion of that game. And you also mentioned Justin Tucker, not the NFL's most accurate kicker anymore. That's because the honor going into this week belonged to Eddie Pinheiro of Carolina. Guess what he did? 2 missed field goals. He missed from 38 and 45 in a 3-point loss to the Buccaneers. So we've had at least 3 games this year where kickers missed from inside 45 in a game that was decided by 1 score. So it's just bizarre to me to see all these missed kicks, but really it's an epidemic. And I think that's the problem with trying to replace Justin Tucker is who do you even bring in to replace him? Because everybody's missing right now. So I'm not sure what you do, but man, if you are a team that lost on a missed field goal, I feel sorry for you. And there's nothing you can do.
Is there, I'm just trying to like high level, do kickers because early in the season, we were talking about, I think it was only 1 kicker missed to like the first 4 weeks from under 40. There was like 1 missed kick, or maybe more than that. And it was all the Packers kicker whose name escaped me because they replaced him already. But there was an unreal bevy of accuracy throughout the NFL in terms of kicking kickers. But like throughout the course of the season, do they kick too much and get like a little overuse, and then all of a sudden maybe your hip's a little looser and it's just like your actually goes down? Or why would kickers later in the season start missing as much as we've seen here? Do you have any reason for it?
The theory would be twofold. One is we just mentioned the colder weather. It's more difficult to kick in cold weather. So, when you're playing in a game where it's 25 degrees, it's just the ball doesn't go as far. You can't control it as well.
And your legs got to stay warm too. I feel like that's also, you have to keep it loose on the sidelines when it's cold. You're just losing blood flow.
And that's absolutely an underrated aspect, because if you're a kicker, you only try 2 field goals in the game. That means you are sitting on the sideline for 3 hours and you get maybe 15 seconds of action plus halftime warm-up, pregame warm-up. But if you're listening to this, go sit outside in 30-degree weather for 3 hours and then try and do anything. You can't, because your whole body is stiff and miserable. The other part is that as you get later in the season, the kicks are just more high pressure, and there is no way to practice high pressure kicks in practice. You just got to hope your guy has the head for it, and not everyone does.